It's Miles.
It's Trouble.
It's the Make It Make Sense podcast.
Yay.
And Tr3bel thinks nicotine's bad for you. And I say, nay, sir. Nay, sir.
You think nicotine is good for you?
I don't think it's bad for you. So now, please comment and help me out here, because from the possibly fake news I've heard, nicotine is the good part, and then in cigarettes, tobacco and all the chemicals are the part that's bad. But the nicotine, if done in moderation, actually has some benefits.
Okay. Now, I just want to say, if I create some shit like nicotine, don't you think that would be what I would say?
Yeah, okay, fair. But all good things say they're good, even when they're good, right?
I've never seen a fruit package say, hey, I'm good. It doesn't have to. You know it's good.
Fruits don't come in packets.
You know what? Now we gonna do the deflections, huh?
Maybe. All right. Beneficial effects. This is from the National Institution of Health. Okay. So this is this should give us the real deal information here. So we'll read this together. If we both agree this might be a legit source, can we?
I'm listening. Let's go.
Abstract. Here we go. Nicotine in tobacco brings illness and death to millions. Okay, that makes sense. Yet, nicotine in its pure form has the potential to be a valuable pharmaceutical agent. Nicotine fairly specifically binds to the, and this is what I was trying to tell you earlier, it binds to the cholinergic nicotine gating site on the cationic ion channels, obviously, and receptors throughout the body. The action stimulates the release of a variety of neurotransmitters, including especially some word I can't say, and serotonin. Serotonin. Everybody loves serotonin, right? It has reduction of body weight, enhancement of performance, protection against Parkinson's disease and Tourette's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and ulcerative colitis, which, side note, every medication on TV, somehow they get ulcerative colitis. You ever notice that word always pops up?
Where the fuck, like...
That shit is in everything. You can't get away from ulcerative colitis. And it helps with sleep apnea, which I need to give that to someone I love a lot because she sleeps me out of the bedroom. So, in defense, sir, it sounds like I'm right.
Now, if you look up, is nicotine harmful?
Okay.
You're going to get...
We can play this game. We can play...
Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't trust nobody that runs a country that says that alcohol is legal and weed ain't. Now, I ain't knocking nobody that drink. Drink, do you, bro. Just in moderation, be safe, have fun. But literally, alcohol says it's poison on the bottle. They give you medicine in the hospital that has meth in it. Why in the fuck would these be the people I trust? I'm just saying, that's just how I feel.
Okay, so would you, fair, and I hear your side. So would you say side effects, would that be the bad side of nicotine?
Physical side effects, it's a harmful chemical.
Oh, all right, how bad is this really, though? We have dizziness and lightheadedness. I mean, that's kind of what being high is. Sleep disturbances. I can't sleep anyways. Doesn't matter. Changes in blood flow. Can't be the same all the time. Headaches suck. It does give you a headache. I don't like headaches, so that's bad. Increased risk of blood clotting. Not the best thing in the world. There's worse. Increased blood pressure. I'm black. It don't matter. That's there already.
Oh, now you want to use that shit? No, motherfucker, no.
And shortness of breath. Who needs a lot of breath? I don't see anything wrong with it. Those things sound like things that happen after
If you're a nicotine company and you want to sponsor MIMS Media,
yes,
go ahead, holla at your boy. He ready for it. He all in. He finna be y'all nicotine poster child, and he gonna have all the nicotine gum. Y'all gonna have nicotine drinks in his honor. You know,
nicotine drinks. Hey, what about the nicotine? You were the one that were telling me about the blunt infused with nicotine or something, right?
Nah, hell no. Oh, well.
Yeah, so you were talking to me about these, or you were here actually one night. We were hanging out, and you told me about a time that you got a blunt, and you didn't know it was a certain type of blunt, and it had tobacco, and you hit it, and it fucked you up.
Oh. We was talking about more like a lot of cats. You ever heard of people who smoke backwoods?
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Okay, so you got Badwoods, you got what's also called grabber leaf, and that's just a type of
I've never heard that one.
it's a type of a wrap. But
Okay.
some dudes they put grabber inside of their weed too. Like so they'll wrap it and grabber, but put crumbled grabber inside of the weed.
Grabba is a leaf, nicotine, like a tobacco leaf.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I can't. I don't know if it got nicotine in it. It might have some
I mean, if it's
nicotine in it.
tobacco, it probably does for sure. Yeah.
But
Especially if you feel something when you does it make you feel different than high?
no, it's more or less it's harsh as fuck when you try to hit it when
Right.
it got it in it. Like you can feel it. Like you be like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, and they just be like, some people they look for that. But I got
Right.
a homie in particular.
Yeah.
He has more. We always joke that he got more grabber than weed. Like nigga, you smoking a grabber fucking cigar with a little bit of weed in it. Is what it tastes like. But it's wrapped in papers. So it's like, what the purpose of smoking out of papers if this shit finna still be a damn cigar on the inside of it?
Do you when you smoke those, does it make you feel like a little light dizzy or anything?
Uh,
Or hyper, like an upper?
nah. I think that's gonna be canceled out though if you smoking a heavy indica anyway though.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's
but
true.
nah, I think it's more or less just like a harsh feeling when you hit it. It make you want to cough and choke, like almost vomit sometimes if you hit it too hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So
Yeah.
it's just it just ain't pleasant.
Damn, speaking of being smoking and getting a little dizzy and lightheaded or drinking or whatever, how about Ryan Garcia? The Ryan Garcia statement about him drinking and smoking and fighting, not now where some company, you said it earlier, they're saying he pissed hot. So now,
Harder.
yeah.
PADA, yeah.
What is that all about?
I told you can't speak out about the elites and absolutely nothing happens.
Oh, so what? Oh, interesting.
Now let's
Okay.
not forget he did that.
Mm-hmm.
He also went and beat Ryan. He also went and beat Devin Haney when everybody thought he was losing it. He was going crazy.
He beat the soul out of Devin Haney.
Devin Haney don't even look like he want a boss no more.
No.
So I say that was just something he had already tried. He tried the same thing with Tank. It wasn't as drastic with Tank. But
You think he went more extreme this time around?
Because I think he has a respect for Tank deep down, and that was like he just wanted to prove that he could beat Tank Davis.
Okay.
But deep down, he still has a respect for him as a skilled boxer. Maybe not as people, maybe not as friends, but it's the same thing as anything else. You have a respect for somebody who's extremely high level.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like a lot of things about Jay-Z, but I'll never say that he's not a good lyricist.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So is this just part of a one little step in a smear campaign to make him look like how does this? Where do you think this plays in with the elites if they are trying to inject this into the storyline? What do you think what's the purpose?
you damage his reputation.
Slowly
Because
chisel away at it.
As soon as it comes out, you got all of these pro boxers who are like, "Oh yeah, we knew something was up. We knew y'all the same people who said that he was fucked up and he was finna get knocked out. Now all of a sudden y'all knew he just looked better.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Make up your minds." And then it's like, "Oh well, he weighed 3 pounds over. Well, what he tested positive for was supposed to help him lose weight. Why in the hell would he take something to help him lose weight to still come in heavy?
Yeah.
Make it make sense." So I just think that again, even it shows that it goes across all sports, it goes across all entertainment. Anytime you speak out against the elites and you got a big enough platform to start changing minds and making people kind of look at what you're talking about, you're gonna always draw some of their, attention, and they do what they can.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Do you think someone like him that spoke out like that, does it inevitably end up with death? Or is it not have to go
I
that
don't
far?
always have to go that far. I think that it definitely depends on the level that you're willing to go to prove what it is. Um, I think it's like a danger meter. Like if it's a video game, you got characters that got different levels of power, and I think they can kind of be like, nah, this is the motherfucker that if we don't nip this shit in the bud, this is a bigger problem than anything we'll be able to corral. I don't
Interesting.
necessarily see that they see that with Ryan Garcia,
Mm-hmm.
but it does show that they feel some type of pressure by even doing something like this.
And the power that they're afraid, really, it's just words, right? It's just
Yeah,
the message. Like that
yeah.
shows you how powerful the word is. That's something I've been kind of, and we can talk about him a little bit later. But there's someone I've been listening to that really hammers that in. It's like the power of using words, saying things out loud is where all the strength is, and
hmm
it makes it seem to me. It kind of makes it make a little bit more sense why these people that are highly influential that do speak out are threatened. I always
Yeah,
wondered like, what's the big threat? Who cares? But
because
there's power.
it's spiritual warfare. Like, I'm not a huge Bible person,
Hmm.
but I do know a lot about the Bible.
Hmm.
Um, but there's a portion of the Bible where it tells you like you do not wrestle, you do not struggle with how is it worded? You do not wrestle with the powers. You do not wrestle with flesh and blood, but we struggle with the powers of principalities or something like that.
Hmm.
But basically, it's saying that you don't fight with flesh and blood. You not the war is not against other humans.
Right.
It's the entities that fill these humans, the spiritual realm
Hmm.
that this war is actually being taken place in. Is actual spiritual beings that help manifest certain evils and things like that. And this is what you're really up against.
Hmm.
So understanding that when you reach a certain high level of vibration, you understand that. So
Hmm.
you understand, nah, like you ain't fighting 1-on-1, just you versus no one devil at a time and one demon. Nah, bro, like you speak out against something like that, you finna get a legion, you know what I mean? You finna get attacked.
Yeah.
They finna sick it on you to try to suck the life out of you and use you as an example to make sure nobody else can take what you did to another step.
Wow. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think the irony of it is that always shown that somebody is always going to pick up the mantle and take it to another level regardless.
Mm-hmm. Man, all right. How about the playoffs? By the way, at the point of us recording this right now, Katie's gone, Steph's gone, Damian's gone, Giannis is gone. Like it's like a changing of the guard. Granted, some injuries, but
Yeah.
still,
Yeah, I think this is what the game needed. I mean, the
it is kind of
ratings went
refreshing.
through the roof when it was the Nuggets versus the Heat. That run for both of those teams, cuz it's like, whoa, two underdogs that even though the Nuggets I wouldn't consider them like an underdog team.
I think to the average person, they were.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
from an outside
Yeah.
perception
Mm-hmm.
before they actually won it,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of like, all right, they're really good, but are they really a championship team?
Yeah.
I think that all of that really just rekindled the fire in the game because you
Mm-hmm.
got tired of watching these super teams with
Mm-hmm.
all of these 3 to 4 superstars on one team.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you winning.
Yeah.
Like, of course you winning. Like, so, but
Do you think that if KD and Steph and them were together now, they'd still reign, or is even that not good enough now?
I mean, it would have if he never left because of the chemistry that they would have built over the course of this
Right.
time.
Yeah.
But going back, I don't think it's gonna work. I think Klay
Yeah.
Thompson is out of there during
Yeah.
the offseason.
That was tough, huh? That was tough to watch that for me. I never was a big Clay fan, but I don't want to see. It's just sad, you just don't want to see a player kind of deteriorating in front of your eyes
I
like
just
that.
think it's sometimes you overstay your welcome in certain areas. I think
Yeah.
that sometimes people need a change of scenery to kind of rekindle, relight a fire in them.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I think that he might have some more years left in him, but I
Just not
just
at that level or that
or
role.
just with that team.
Yeah.
I
You,
just think that he can go somewhere else and be extremely effective.
and all of this happening, I don't even pay attention to the East. Like who I don't. I was
Ah,
when the Magic. God, Magic. I'm gonna give you love. I'm so
I
proud of the
know.
Magic,
I'm a Magic fan. It's so sad.
but I'm
But
so proud
dog,
of him,
I
man.
can't say nothing, dog, because Donovan Mitchell went to a
He
different
went
fucking level.
ape shit. He did like
Like,
41 game,
yeah,
50 the
50,
other.
yeah, bro. Like Donovan
Yeah,
Mitchell don't get none of the respect that
no.
he deserves.
Same shit happened in
I
Utah.
think I think that he's going to New York because he's already pretty
Ooh,
much declined his contract extension to what I've heard.
really?
I think that he's going to New York because
You heard it here first.
there, he gonna get all the love he required. He do what he just did in the playoffs.
How's that gonna work though? Because he's gonna be a
I think
2 guard.
Julian, hell yeah, Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, he's gonna have to, right?
He's a 2 guard now.
Yeah.
He just handles the ball a lot because he
Who's
has
their
that
point
ability.
guard? LeVert?
Darius Garland.
Oh, Garland. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think that Jason Tatum is out of Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I think they made that decision when they paid Jaylen Brown
Mm-hmm.
because nobody can convince me that Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum.
Yeah. No.
So if you're gonna pay him $300 million, how do you justify paying me anything less?
Right. Right. Yeah.
And they don't have enough money to give $600 million to 2 people.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
So,
Okay. All right.
Yeah, man. And lastly, I just want to give a big shout out to Jalen Brunson, bro. Talking about the Knicks and stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
They say that you got to be a certain height. You got to have a certain level of athleticism. You got to have a vert. You got to be super fast. You got to do all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's showing you don't. You just need skills, determination, and a high IQ, man. He balling.
I mean, if there's no bigger example of basketball IQ than him, because he, like you said, he's got every physical thing working against him.
LeBron definitely up there, but I get what you're getting.
Yeah, well, LeBron's up there. Well, yeah, true, but I guess I'm thinking.
I get what you're saying.
I'm thinking more like playmaking, just in the moment.
He's definitely showing he's a superstar.
He's a superstar. Dude, and he knows how to figure it out in the moment. Like his split-second decision-making in the paint to know when to move and pivot and push is dude, you can't. It's only that because
it's a thing that you can't teach.
You cannot, man. He sees the games slower than everybody.
Yeah,
that has to be it.
Respect the hell out of Jalen.
Mad respect. So you could almost say this is like a whole new revamping of the look of the NBA, and that kind of reminds me of something. Because I got to touch on something that this is what we do, and something that's very interesting is this C40 city that you mentioned. Now we didn't do. Granted, we didn't do a lot of deep diving into it yet. I'm sure Tr3bel will because he's a master at that. But I did want to just touch on it before we got out of here. What did you discover here recently about this C40 situation?
Well, I mean, I heard about it a while ago. Basically, C40 cities are it's a part of the 2030 initiative for what they call smart cities, where they're trying to reduce emissions. So the vehicles in the city are going to be electric. They're going to control the way that the food is processed and stuff like that, that the people eat. All of these different things, the amount of Wi-Fi and things like that is accessible. But I think I won't say irony, but the big part is just how many cities have already agreed to be a part of this.
Look at this map. Look at this. Yeah.
Yeah. So just in North America alone, there's countless cities. I think it's an amazing thing in a way because if this thing is executed right, I think it could be a good thing. But I'm just not sure how I feel about a company that we don't necessarily like who is the actual founder of this C40 initiative. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, what exactly are you trying to do? Because again, electric cars are cool, but they are not the most efficient thing when we're talking about the preservation of energy anyway. They've already proven that people have made cars that can run on water. You get what I'm saying?
Is that hydroelectric? Is that what they call that?
I don't even know if it's that. Like I've seen dudes that used to be on YouTube that can make a physical truck run on water. These people end up dead though, of course. But this is what I'm saying. What initiative are we really, really pushing when we all electric cars? Yeah. We've now just went over all of this stuff about the abilities that they have with their levels of technology, the powers that be. We have hackers that hack phones 24/7, things like that. All of the cars being electric and stuff like that just makes all of that more easy and accessible.
As far as you mean controlling?
Yeah. The possibility of something being out of your control, or just look at the amount of finances that goes into electric cars. They're cheap sometimes, but the battery is worth more than the car. It's an electric car. It just does not. I got to stop and fill up my car for 45 minutes just to get enough charge to drive somewhere. That's crazy.
Yeah. And it's crazy that they force you to have to use that too. I mean, is it I thought we already figured out like emission stuff to where it's not destroying the planet. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I thought we had that kind of honed in.
Nah, we
So what?
don't. I think that's gonna always be a discussion because it's something to have a discussion about. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Personally, I think we have all of the tech necessary to heal all of the ailments that are really, really plaguing the world.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of money in it, so you have to.
Money and sickness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's money in drama. There's money in everything. There's
Mm-hmm.
money in death.
Yeah.
So I think that there's, from what I understand, though, we talk about Billy Carson, guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
When you do any search or any deep dive about like extraterrestrial activity or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
you hear of something called the Ashtar Command or things like that, where there are these beings of races or things like that that
Mm-hmm.
basically are like, look, bro, the time is up for y'all with all of this craziness y'all got going on.
Mm-hmm.
We got to come clean this up. So
Mm-hmm.
I do think that certain changes that we are watching happen are happening because of that
Mm-hmm.
behind closed doors, despite how other people may feel.
So that could be potentially be a positive thing, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we were talking about the Oculus thing or the iPad visual vision or
Oh,
whatever
the
it's
Apple
called.
Vision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we were like, bro, imagine the kind of practices that you could do as a doctor with that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you look at their commercial, they're advertising that.
Right.
They're showing that they can practice open heart surgery on a heart,
Yeah.
or surgery on a heart without actually having to do it on a heart. But
Right.
it's just as pretty much is just as precise.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So even
Mm-hmm.
these kind of applications, I always say I don't think technology itself is bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of who we allow to get this technology, and not necessarily everything is for the most nefarious reasons, other
Mm-hmm.
than just them gouging money out of us.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like we need access to certain things for our lives to be a lot smoother.
Yeah.
Technology could definitely be a very, very large benefit for that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think for financial reasons, they keep us at a certain level of tech so that
Mm-hmm.
we don't advance past what they can monetize. if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Or possibly control.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? So other than the cars, are there other things they mentioned in there that they're trying to
To my
revamp?
knowledge, they were talking about something about controlling the food sources. I'm not 100% sure what their plan is with
Okay.
that, so I ain't gonna say it's necessarily bad.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's again who's in control of this, and who are you agreeing to allow to control such things like
Right.
cities like Austin, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles, California, Atlanta, Georgia. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of them are already on the list as a C40 city.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually had it up here briefly. It does, if you go to c40.org, and they have a city section here, and then let me pop it up here real quick for us. So when you go there, you scroll down, and it shows you a map, but then you can go further down, and it does break down all the different cities. And I guess you can view like LA, Miami, a lot of these big popular cities, Houston, Boston, a lot of the
Mhm.
worldwide known cities. I made a joke about San Francisco earlier. They actually are on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's very interesting. Definitely look into this, everybody that's watching. I know I will. We will. This is stuff you got to it's on the horizon. It isn't here yet, but there's a lot of things going on that are right in front of us,
Yeah.
and it's just takes a little bit of digging to see it. And I do like the fact, and you have mentioned it before, and I like the fact that it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. And
Right.
I kind of picked up on that. You mentioned him a minute ago, listening to Billy Carson. By the way, if no one's heard of him, I saw him on a really popular podcast called Flagrant with Andrew Schultz. That for I think that for is going to. I mean, it's as close as Rogan. It's almost like that
He's been
level.
on Joe Rogan too before.
He's been on Rogan?
Pretty positive.
Oh, I got to see that. I
I
didn't know
could be
that.
wrong, but I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, and it was I don't know, man. He's very charismatic. I mean, he's very well spoken. There's a lot of red flags with that type of stuff when I see people like that, but and he's very loaded with information. But a lot of this stuff, and I like how he says, just look it up. And if you
Yeah.
stop and look it up, it's there,
Yeah.
regardless of what you think about what he's saying. And what he's saying. The point of me bringing him up is that not everything he's saying is like doom and gloom. A lot
Yeah.
of it,
No.
like go. You know more about him than me.
Nah, you can say what you were saying. No.
No, I was no. I'm kind of hoping I kind of got to bounce it off you because it seems like it's a lot of basically what he's saying and what he's seen, and it's happened for a long time. Is that there's been multiple different types of quote unquote aliens, just as a loose term that you could even maybe tie back to the Bible, to where you start thinking angels and all this stuff aren't
Yeah.
necessarily angels.
Yeah.
They could just be aliens or just people that look like us, aren't necessarily beady-eyed weird stuff, even though those are out there too. But these are just higher intelligence or just more advanced what do you call them, beings, I guess you'd
Yeah.
say,
I guess you could say. Yeah.
that can come down. And they're trying to, if you listen to Toth and all that, his goal was to improve us and teach us skills and ways of being better.
Yeah.
Essentially, we're like partially, depending on how deep you go into this and believe it, aren't we basically seeded from them? And then now they waited for us to get to a certain level, and now it's trying to teach us to crawl, and eventually we'll be able to walk and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, they're old writings. We talked about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I forget. I think it's called the Numa Elish, and Billy Carson is like a expert on that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but he has a lot of like individual work with people who have been directly tied to these things. So
Mm-hmm.
he does actually even does trips where you can go on a trip with him
So
to
like
Egypt
Egypt
and
and
stuff like that to see what
right.
he's talking about.
Yeah.
But there are very, very ancient texts that talk about these things that
Mm-hmm.
sound so far fetched. This is why they get kind of kept out of uh, everyday academia.
Mm-hmm.
Because why are we not being taught this kind of stuff? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why is it that we still have to speculate if there's extraterrestrial life when we have all of this proof?
Right. Yeah.
Because then now we got to start teaching about why we were lied to for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a Pandora's box that's been closed for so long, and it's been fighting out, and information is being leaked out,
Mm-hmm.
but also information is being given out. I forget what year it was, but in the recent years, I believe in the last 10 years, the FBI, they released over 2 million documents of UFOs.
Yeah.
2 million documents? Who in the fuck got time to read 2 million documents?
Right.
So their number one tactic is the oversaturation of information.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to find what's true because it's so much fucking information.
Right.
So somebody like him, they come and they can kind of decipher that information a
He
little
puts
bit.
in the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say that from the older writings, they tell us that there were humans on this planet already when they came. Thoth, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Thoth says that when they came from Planet X, which is Nibiru,
Mm-hmm.
that when they came here, there were people of dark skin, cone heads, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
In other writings, they did talk about genetically modifying us to a degree
Mm-hmm.
to help us be more acclimated with using overall thoughts and
Mm-hmm.
those kind of things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just being more aware.
Yeah.
They said though that we were already good at cultivating, like growing things and
Mm.
food and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we already have. This is why I believe those things are natural to us.
Yeah.
And we have these natural tendencies. You're considered to have a green thumb if you can grow things, if you can
Mm-hmm.
speak to plants, and all of these kind of things. They're considered old and outdated kind of thought processes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason that the older people had more of a connection with the land is because they understood, I think, innately,
Mm-hmm.
we've always had these abilities, and that's what made us us.
Yes. Yeah.
So, whether people like certain conversations, I'm kind of over that
Mm-hmm.
because, like you said, it's a simple research.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't like the research. They want it to be on the news, and even when they tell you on the news that they're extraterrestrials, and they literally did a whole debriefing, nobody batted an eye.
Right.
So
It's just crazy to me. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't have time to be dealing with all of that. What we are dealing with though are for the people who care to learn or who have very I don't know what word I was going to say, but they want to learn, they want to grow.
The thirst for knowledge.
Yeah, like, and they might already have some knowledge themselves, but are still finding and hunting for different perspectives that might help further their knowledge.
That's exactly well put. It's looking for different perspectives because that's why it does take like a group effort. And like with our small podcast, we're putting in another angle, another perspective. It's one thing that we're probably, we could be, there's people that wouldn't come across this information that may like us for whatever reason. Now they're hearing it. That's great. But also we might be tying together, putting other dots together that they heard from other sources they rely on too. And that helps confirm and make a clear picture. And like the thing about it that really that really got me hooked on it is that I love the positive side of it. I love that it's once you start understanding vibration and frequencies and like the simple basic things that you can do as a person that maybe we did as children and we didn't think about talking to ourselves out loud and doing all this, like all these things that seem childish and pointless may be the foundation of what makes us a better society and a better functioning person. So that's what has gotten me super hungry and wanting to hear more. But it's a lot, man. Once you start getting into, especially with the guy Billy, when he starts tying it into like biblical parallels.
The Bible is a very, very interesting thing.
I definitely want to have an episode where we really like line it up and like kind of knock some things out.
That's when I started getting in fucking trouble though. I ain't gonna lie. I did like a breakdown on Instagram a while back about like certain correlations in the Bible, like the 12 disciples thing.
Yeah.
Jesus, I am the sun, the light, that whole concept of the 12 zodiac signs. We can go into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I did a video about that shit, bro, and I was breaking it down, talking about the spaceship that Ezekiel seen, and they talk about it in the Bible, shit like that. And it's like, bro, after that, I got shadow banned. That was when I started putting out videos. I was going live all the time. This is actually before we even started doing this. I was like consistently, I was doing that.
Yeah.
And then, they was like, nah, motherfucker.
Well, we ain't making any money yet, so what we got to lose?
Hey, I'm with it.
All right, that's a plan then. You heard it here first. We're gonna be doing it. We're gonna be bringing it. All right, till next time.